Strategies for Real Estate, a 30-minute program updating you on today's real estate market and discussing current issues and opportunities in the desirable Silicon Valley. Plus, interviews with real estate experts giving you insight on what's to come. With your hosts, Tracy Knapp and Dan Lawson. And now, Strategies for Real Estate.
Hello and welcome to our program. I'm Dan Lawson. I'm very happy you're with us tonight. We'll start our program off with our real estate climate segment. I've got a familiar face to Strategies for Real Estate, someone who hasn't been on for a while, but he's going to be talking about commercial real estate. It's Dennis Byron from Montalvo Realty. And we haven't had someone come on and talk about commercial real estate in some time, and he's an expert at it, and you're going to learn a great deal from him on this segment. We'll then go to our weekly spotlight. Mike Aguilera is going to be my guest, and he's an executive coach, and he's going to be talking about subconscious communication. There's another name for it, but I want to keep you on our show because you want to listen, you want to hear what Mike has to say, and you're going to find it very, very interesting. And then we're going to close our program out with our viewer mail segment. Steve Stefanik, he's also an executive life coach from In-House Coach, and he's going to be talking about a new way to leverage the power of trust. And trust is something we all need to have in each other. So you want to stay tuned for that segment as well. So it's now time for our real estate climate segment. Welcome to our real estate climate segment. I'd like to introduce Dennis Byron from Montalvo Realty. Dennis, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for inviting me.
Well, you're certainly a familiar face to our program, but definitely a familiar face to Silicon Valley Realty, or real estate. So I'm honored to have you on a show, and you're just a wealth of information. So thanks for taking time with us today.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, your career is very long and very broad, and the focus of our conversation today is going to be about commercial real estate. But before we get into some of the market structure and market status for commercial real estate, I'd like you to talk about something that you're recently now a part of. You're a board of directors of Northern California Commercial Association of Realtors, and I'd like you to talk about that and share some of the points of their organization and the structure and how it really is beneficial to the community.
Well, organized real estate through California Association of Realtor and National Association of Realtors has always been bent towards the residential specialist. Now they're getting more into the commercial end. The National Association started with CCIM, which is Certified Commercial Industrial Member, and now we have a board of realtors for commercial realtors. It's, as you said, NCCAR. Right. We've never had organized real estate with a board before. It started in about 2006. Years ago in the 70s, they had a commercial venture, but it kind of dropped out of sight, and of course residential picked up. Sure. But there's never been an organized setup. Mostly commercial brokers work through word of mouth, through networking and so forth. Now we have California Commercial Property Information Exchange, which is a multiple listing service for commercial real estate. We have the Board of Real Estate. We have CCA, which is the California Commercial Alliance, which reaches out to non-realtor real estate professionals so that they can also get involved.
I see. And I was looking at the website, and it was impressive. Not so much with the bells and whistles that are on it, but the content. Yeah. Because I think content and focus, to me, is really the core of any organization, not a pretty photo or something like that. Right. And what I took away was there's an emphasis on professional standards and ethics. Yes. And I like that an organization isn't being regulated by the government to step up and say, we are going to have our own professional standards, and we're going to have an ethical approach that is at a level, if 10 is great, we're going to be on a 15.
Yeah. As in residential real estate, there's a professional standards committee. We have a professional standards committee. We have a grievance committee. We have a way to regulate our realtors in-house. There's a lot of, we have a, what am I trying to think of, an ethical standard. We have the rules of ethics that any other real estate agent would have.
Of course.
And of course, as you know, when you went to the website, you found a lot of backup material. We have classes helping people become more professional. We have over 40 classes, for instance.
Which I think is wonderful, to create an environment where people can shine and be better. And not learn on the job, not learn by fire,
Right.
but learn in a classroom and learn from other professionals that have gone through this path a few times. So the experience for the consumer is heightened.
Yeah.
What a wonderful structure.
Yeah, a lot of residential real estate people don't know commercial, and this is a path for them to learn how to get into commercial real estate.
So a consumer is thinking about acquiring commercial real estate would be encouraged to go to the website and then learn more about the ins and outs of and the goings on of commercial real estate. Yes,
That's correct, yeah. They can also, as they do with the MLS, they can research properties available, find areas of interest to them. There's so many interesting
other
parts
professionals that might be in the area they wish to purchase.
That's correct. That's correct. They can also, as you can see, we have forms available for realtors that not only zip forms, but commercial air forms. We have classes in those. We have access to attorneys. We have access to commercial lenders, professionals like yourself to call on. So it adds to a whole new perspective for the commercial real estate profession.
Yeah,
We also
just
have
a better good.
Yeah, we also have local networking sessions such as IEC, Investment Exchange Counselors, where real estate people in this area can get together and go over their properties. We have networking groups that are put on statewide. These are called mastermind groups, where you can go in and you can talk to other realtors, talk to attorneys, have information that's brought to you by insurance professionals and so forth, so that everybody can become, as you say, more professional.
Correct. Yeah, and the ultimate outcome is the consumer is served in a higher level and
Yes.
in a more professional level.
Yes, yes.
With ethics and integrity.
Yeah, he can count on finding somebody that knows his field of interest and expertise.
Right. And I think that's a good segue to talk about the market of touch. I mean, feel free if you have more you want to share about this. But for many that let's assume many of our audience might not have ever looked into a commercial piece of property. So certainly I know the differential, but why don't you just give us a little background on what a commercial property is and how it's somewhat different. I mean, it's a lot different, but just give us an overview.
Give you a few examples. Anybody that buys an investment home is dealing with commercial real estate. For instance, if people want to do a flip house, we can go into talking about where some of the best markets are. People have for instance, an innate fear of Stockton, because as you know, the city of Stockton is bankrupt right now.
Right.
But there's opportunities there.
Well, they filed for bankruptcy protection.
Yeah, that's true.
That's right.
But one of the things, for instance, with Stockton is the fact that people still have to work there. And they've lost their home. They can't qualify for a new loan. So what do? They go into a rental. Now, the the vacancy factor in Stockton is very low. So for an investor, that's not a bad place to be.
True.
And they're not paying the prices they're going to be paying in Mountain View for the same fourplex or multiple unit.
Correct.
There's other forms of investments they can get into. For instance, I just had a client sell their fourplex in Richmond. And they wound up getting what they call coupon clippers or triple net leases back in Tennessee.
Really?
Yeah, so now they've got a no management investment in a property that's giving them a high rate of return that they weren't getting in the fourplex. They got away from the management of the fourplex and so forth. So.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And for some of the people that have not explored, I'll offer a few things like a 1 to 4 unit. If it's an investment property, typically you can do standard residential financing for.
Correct.
So you go 5 units or above in any kind of apartment living or any multi-unit like that's 5 or plus, it falls under the category of commercial lending. Mm-hmm. So maybe touch on how the commercial not the lending piece, but just the process of acquiring, appraisal, the inspection process. It is a little bit different than a standard 1 to 4 unit residential property.
It is a little bit different, and you take into other factors when you're looking at investment properties like cap rates.
Right.
Capitalization rate is the return on your investment. You don't have that when you're looking at an emotional house, when you're walking up and seeing how pretty the pool is. You're more interested in how nice the tenants are and if they're paying their rent.
Correct.
You know, the
And is it debt serving? And,
is it debt
and
serving?
what's the fundamental age
Yeah.
of the property and so on?
One of the good things about commercial property too is you got to remember the income from the commercial property also helps you qualify a little bit for the property.
More so than a normal property, yeah.
Yeah.
Residential home, yeah.
Yeah, so sometimes it's maybe easier to get into a commercial property than it is a residential.
It is indeed.
And there's a shortage in the market, so the prices are going up, and you know, they're very good investments right now, and probably will be for a few more years yet.
I think you're right. I think you're right. Well, Dennis, we're going to have to leave it there, but
Okay.
thank you for your insight. Best of luck as a board of director for NCCAR.
Yeah.
And we look forward to seeing you again towards the end of the year, but best of luck for 2014 to you.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.